Are you excited for Disney's upcoming Snow White and the Seven Bandits? Storytelling and entertainment has been an extremely effective way of impacting culture, both positively and negatively. And in the last several years, Hollywood and Disney and entertainment across the board has had a very negative impact on culture and the world. And the Walt Disney Company just stooped to a new all-time low. I want to welcome you guys to Coach's Archives. Thank you so much for being here. I basically started this channel 5 weeks ago where we are examining and giving commentary on culture through the lens of truth, American, Christian, and conservative values. I have a degree in social science and I've got 20 years of experience in the field. Let's look and see what Disney is doing with Snow White. On December 21st, 1937, Walt Disney's world changed forever, because that was the release date for their first full-length feature film, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Not only was it a turning point for Walt Disney, his company, animation, it was also a turning point for film itself. It was a huge production that took over 3 years to complete. They had over 1,000 animators, over 100 different colorists. So many people worked together to make that film what it was. And according to our friends at the New York Post, Disney's live-action Snow White takes wokeness to an absurd new low. So in this picture, we see the Snow White stand-in princess, and we see the group of merry men and women who are apparently the Seven Dwarfs. But wait a minute, that doesn't look like the Seven Dwarfs. After all, according to leftist media and this woke agenda, the Seven Dwarfs perpetuated stereotypes. They were all men and they were all white, so pretty much they're evil. So the Walt Disney Company has decided to forego using actual real white dwarves, and instead they're giving us this diverse cast of magical people. Are they still calling it Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? I honestly do not know the answer to that. Are they just calling it Snow White? Snow White and the Seven Diverse People? Snow White and the Seven People Who Would Never Be Together? Snow White and the Hollywood Agenda? You get the point. Do you remember Peter Dinklage of Game of Thrones fame? Well, he had some scathing remarks and criticism about Disney and the whole Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs thing. Game of Thrones star Peter Dinklage, who has dwarfism, seemingly started off the whole stupid affair back in 2022 when he whined in the press, "You're still making that," insert curse word that starts with an F, I'm not saying it, backward story about seven dwarves living in a cave together. What the, there it is again, F are you doing, man? Have I done nothing to advance the cause from my soapbox? Mr. Dinklage, gotta tell you that Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is pure fantasy. Quit taking things so seriously, my man. I guess Peter thinks that we are confusing the dwarfs in the 1937 animated movie to be people who are actually in real life. Come on, man. It's fantasy. So because of Peter Dinklage's criticism, now Disney has decided they are not going to cast any actual dwarf actors to play those roles. Which leads us back to the picture. I bet Peter Dinklage didn't even think that he is actually harming and taking actual real dwarf actors out of jobs. Have you ever seen Time Bandits? The movie came out in 1981. Wholesome, fun, fantasy, entertaining, and did far more to advance dwarfs in Hollywood than Peter Dinklage has ever even thought about. The first person that I saw comment on that was actually Megyn Kelly, who right here says, "You ruin the acting roles for other dwarfs." The craziest thing about it is that the photo actually leaked a few days ago, and Disney actually reported, "That is not our movie, that is not on the set, that is a fake, that is not happening." And as you guys already know, Disney and Hollywood is full of lies. They lie all the time, and now they've had to come back out and say, "Oh, sorry, that actually is our movie." And an official woke statement from Disney right here, a Disney spokesperson told Deadline, "To avoid reinforcing stereotypes from the original animated film, we are taking a different approach with these 7 characters and have been consulting with members of the dwarfism community. We look forward to sharing more as the film heads into production after a lengthy development period." I'm going to be honest with you guys, and it might shock you. I hope it actually continues. I hope we get more and more of this in Hollywood, because as that happens, more and more people are going to turn away from this kind of entertainment. I have absolutely zero desire to go see Disney's new live-action Snow White and the Seven Bandits, or whatever they're going to call it. They are setting this movie up to be another historical flop. Literally, all we have to do is stay the course, and it's going to swing back our way. And not making the film any better, the Hollywood elite also has to weigh in. Star of the film Rachel Zegler wants to be left out of the nonsensical discourse related to her Snow White casting. Basically, she's saying, don't want to talk about it. What you're talking about is nonsense. I will have nothing to do with this. Because that's what the left does. They do not even want to have the conversation, because they don't have common sense on their side, so they know that they're losing. Now, I do want to point out here that I don't really want to personally attack Rachel Zegler. She's an actress. She got hired to do a job, but she needs to be very careful with the words that she uses. And calling the conversation nonsensical is a very passive-aggressive way to discount the entire conversation and attack people who are opposed to this. And we can't examine culture if we don't see what the other side is saying and how they are attacking the whole common sense of it all. Ben Shapiro is upset Snow White won't be played by someone the actual color of snow. Yahoo Entertainment, that nobody really reads, opens it up saying, it's only Monday, but Ben Shapiro couldn't wait to try and start a new culture war, this time over the casting of a Latina actor to portray the fictional character of Snow White. Shapiro said, they've cast Snow White. Snow White is now going to be played by Rachel Zegler, okay? Now, Rachel Zegler, you may know, again, her name is Snow White. Now, you might consider that racist, but that's also the name of the actual fairy tale. Shapiro went on to say the original 1936 Snow White, the character is specifically described as having skin white as snow. Disney, Shapiro said, must be trolling everyone now by having Zegler play the character. And I have to agree with Ben Shapiro. Her name literally is Snow White, ladies and gentlemen. And I know for a fact that I would be saying that no matter what the color of my skin is. I don't like it when Hollywood changes a story to check a box. Hollywood has a responsibility to actually tell great stories and advance mankind and advance our thinking and entertain us. And you already know the fallout that's going to happen with Ben Shapiro and anybody who goes against this movie or speaks out against this movie or doesn't want to see this movie. You suffer from some type of Latin phobia. You're a bigot. You're a racist. You're a white supremacist. You're all of those things. And calling people names like that while Disney is carrying out their agenda, it's just evil, and I can't see it any other way. When the left attacks anything, a person, a comment, an organization, whatever, and they come at it from 87 different ways and angles, you know that what they're actually attacking is probably onto something. And most of the time, it's called truth. Thank you so much for being at Coach's Archives. I greatly appreciate it. It means a lot to me that you're here right at the beginning of us getting started on this channel. We're going to do great things together. We're going to have a lot of fun. So I greatly appreciate it. Most importantly, I want to say that I hope that the good Lord rains down his blessings on you and most importantly, draws you nearer to him. All that in Jesus' name. See you on the next one.